And you've got to say, at what point in this process do we get agreement on the problem? Because there's got to be problem agreement before anything else. Now, this can come in the form of a very specialized lead magnet that you offer. So, for example, at the Scalable Company, our highest converting lead magnet is the CEO scorecard. So you only would download that if the problem that you have is you're lacking visibility, you don't have metrics, you don't have scoreboards, you don't have dashboards. It's not promising to make you any richer, thinner, or any kind of broad-based thing. So that ensures that we have problem agreement. Then, if you do have some type of sales motion, you've got to make sure a sales component, whether it's group sales or one-on-one, that there is scripting in the discovery.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Lunch, and we're excited to have you with us today. Ryan, who is my business partner and co-podcast host, is looking slightly confused because I said, let's just start and talk about this thing we're talking about. And he's like, what? And I clicked the button, which is fun because it's raw and real. I am.
It's fulfilling on the promise. It's fulfilling on the promise.
Yeah. It is. I am
your other co-host,
Roland Fraser. Nice to see you guys. So Ryan and I were talking about offers, and I thought this would be really good for us to just have it and record it and see what happened. But we were talking about offers in 3 different businesses that we own and run together, and that each of these businesses, like, we have this dream that all 3 are going to be kicking on all cylinders someday. But it's so far been a dream that maybe it's happened for 2 weeks in the past 10 years where all of them were doing everything they were supposed to be doing. But we're talking about a pretty big transition that we've made that maybe will help some of you guys and others of you. Maybe you can join the conversation and share your experiences and maybe even give us some thoughts on how to improve it that we can share with everybody as well. But we're talking about really over the past 4 years, kind of from when the pandemic first started, end of 2019, early 20, on into 21, 22, first half probably of 23, everybody had lots of money from the government, was giving away everything. And so all of the panic that caused us to believe that maybe the economy was going to go down turned out the exact opposite happened. And now we have seen across several of our businesses, and we see in the press, that things are slower now. Businesses are a little bit more pessimistic, but inflation's still kind of hanging in there difficultly. Although, depending on what you read, it's somewhere between 2 and 4% rate. 2 is the target that the Fed has if you're in the United States, but it's very uncertain. So one of the things that we are trying to do is generate more sales, and to do that, we want to either buy more ads or we want to have better converting offers. And the buying more ads has been difficult because it's hard to spend above a certain level without getting dramatic diminishing returns where your acquisition costs go way, way up, and ultimately it doesn't become as profitable to do. So really focusing on how do we get better conversions. And Ryan and I were talking about that most of our sales, say, especially 5 or 10 years ago, were online, just straight online sales, offers, driving to a web page for a sale, webinar or VSL, video sales letter, going to a sale, e-commerce site going to a sale. And now most of our offers that are higher ticket, which I'm going to say, Ryan, what would you say, over 2,000?
Yeah, typically it's considered 3,000 and above, but yeah.
Okay, so over $3,000, we are not selling those online. We are basically marketing them online and then driving to a sales team. And so we were just talking a minute ago, and Ryan said, "Oh, it's basically a fundamentally different way that you build an offer for the sales team for the phone closes versus online." And so my response that led me to saying, let's just go live and have this conversation where everybody can hear it was, but we have been selling on the phone for certainly the past 3.5 or 4 years in a few of the businesses that we work together, and so I didn't really see any difference. And he said, no, it's actually different. And so he was about to tell me what that was, And I wanted you guys to hear it too. So, and you can summarize some of that, Ryan, and correct anything that I may have said not completely correctly.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said was dead on. I think
Yeah,
what
it
we're
was.
talking
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. Okay.
nailed it, dude, perfect. Now, I think what we're really talking about is how does the sales motion itself impact the offer structure? If we were just going to sum it into kind of one statement, I think that's it. Sales motion impacts offer structure. And this is something that I don't think I fully appreciated until we got into so many businesses that sell in so many different ways. Prior to, like you said, the pandemic, and we owned an entire portfolio of companies prior to 2020, 2021, where they were pretty much all consumer, and even the B2B ones functioned a little bit more consumery, where the whole idea was we get people to a website either through some type of organic traffic or through paid media. They come to a website, they read a page and or they watch a video, they click a link, they go to an order form, they fill it out, they click the submit button, the money arrives, they get access to the stuff, or we ship it out in a box, life is good. Just about everything that we did was structured around this direct to consumer, D2C, e-commerce based business model, even a lot of the B2B stuff. Well, fast forward, and number one, our business mix changed because we frankly sold a lot of those businesses, exited most of those businesses. But also, what we found is that after ad costs have increased dramatically, which happened in 2020, it happened a lot because of the iOS 14 update and things like that. Ad costs just went up. And when ad costs went up, what we saw in our businesses and what saw across the board is you frankly just had to make your customers worth more, or you couldn't afford to acquire more. And this wasn't just in the business to business space. This was also in a lot of consumer markets. And so people finding like, okay, just getting people to click on links and go to websites and give me 50, 100, 200, maybe $1,000, which you could get online, that didn't work anymore. We've got to get the average customer, average client values up so that we can afford to spend. Well, once you get above a certain threshold, now is when people just still today want to talk to someone. Now, there was this brief moment in time when people were fine to just go online and to buy something that was $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, even $10,000 without talking to someone. And that was in this little window immediately post-pandemic when, as you described, everybody's flush with cash from the government, interest rates are nothing. We haven't been, this is another biggie that I think we forgot. We weren't spending money on anything else. Like everybody was so that we couldn't spend money. We weren't really going out.
Travel, right? You couldn't go
travel.
anywhere.
Yeah. And so people are like, I've got all this excess cash laying around. I want to deploy it. And so there was this window when you could do quote unquote high ticket without any sort of sales function. And I would distinguish sales from marketing, meaning a salesperson needing to talk to someone. And if you did, then it was more of a sales assist. So what's the difference between a sales first function and a sales assist? A sales assist is I got all of the information that I needed to make a decision online. I watched a video, I attended a webinar, I attended a multi-day challenge, I went to some kind of an online event, and I'm pretty much ready to buy, but the call to action is still book a meeting or, request a demo, or maybe it's here's a link, but if you have any questions, go over here. That person who then closes that sale, that is a sales assist. They don't actually have to quote unquote sell. Now they do, they need to close, but they don't need to sell. And I'll explain where I see the distinction in just a little bit. I'm not saying that they're just a pure order taker, right? They are doing sales, but on the spectrum of sales, there's I've got to basically take everybody from I've got a problem to I've closed the sale. That is the highest level of sales that you need. Taking somebody from all the way from problem awareness to solution awareness and agreement to product and ultimately closing it. And that really is the different phases. If somebody generally has accepted the solution and they just have a couple of questions about the product, that's a sales assist. That is not the full-blown selling. And I think that's the biggest change that we've made is in that piece there. I'm happy to go into like more depth and clarity and give some examples, but I just want to make sure if you're Following is what I just said. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So let's go back to Eugene Schwartz's levels of awareness. So this is like, in my opinion, the best marketing book ever written is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. In my opinion, the best chapter in that book is the chapter that he has on the levels of awareness. And I think levels of awareness, if you can understand levels of awareness, you understand probably 80% of what you need to know to be really good at sales and marketing. So level 1 is completely unaware. People who have no idea about your product, your service, they don't even know that they have a problem. They are totally and completely unaware. Level 2 is they're problem aware. So at this stage, they have a problem and they're aware that they have a problem. They don't necessarily know what the problem is called yet, and they also don't know what solutions are available to solve the problem. They just know they got a problem. So this is somebody saying, I'm overweight, I need to lose some pounds, right? They know they have a problem. The level up from that is solution aware. And solution is when you're becoming aware of the different solution categories. So going back to the weight loss example, this is, I could take diet pills. This is, I could join a gym. This is, I could get surgery. This is, I could get the Ozempic shot, right? Which was a new solution category for an existing problem, right? Is I could go and get this magical skinny shot, right? Now, level up from that is product aware. Product aware is, I am now aware of the specific products within these different categories. So I'm not just thinking gym. I'm thinking I want to join Iron Tribe. I'm not just thinking diet pill. I'm thinking this specific one.